YouTube, what's good, y'all? Man, it's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another collective energy read. I hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time of your day. Remember to take what resonates and please leave the rest behind. I'm on a little streak and we're just going to keep on going with the flow. I've got a message off the top for what I'm tapping into. Let's go ahead and get the protection things in. Angels of the highest, the white light, ancestors of the highest, the white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages, and also to preside any type of clearing out that needs to be cleared out of this energy field so I can bestow upon the clearest reads that I need to, clearest messages that I need to, concisely. Thank you, and Ashe. So, whoever I'm tapping into, you may have a lot of people that are obsessed with different parts of your life because of a certain energy you embody, a potential you embody, or something that you carry, or something that you literally inherit, or something that you have to yourself. This could be money, well started, this could be social, this could be something physical, this could be a physical trait about you, this could be a social trait about you, this could be a spiritual trait about you, this could be anything that you're embodying on a psychological level that people are tuning into. There's something about attention, people having all eyes on you in some way, shape, or form. I got a Pac shirt on, shout out Tupac. Huge influence on my poetry, huge influence. But that may be something for somebody. That's why I said it. That was really about me, but that could be something for somebody. It could be a huge influence on a lot of different people. Of course, it's Tupac, one of the most regal musicians of our time. Six of Swords energy off the top. There's something about transitions and changes that people are perceiving to happen, so transformations that have happened, perceiving to have happened. So there's some type of transformation in regards to whoever I'm tapping into that people are very much interested in. The message that I had, you carry a starlight energy that people want to know and see for themselves. So whoever I'm tapping into, you have people that are really interested to take to you at this time. Look at the densities as opportunities to transmute, transcend. This is a manifestational message in regards to maybe things are feeling a little cluttering right now in regards to whoever I'm tapping into because of the amount of attention or energy that you're receiving at this time. There's something about grounding this energy and make sure that you're taking the energy. When you're not directing yourself or not facing the energy that's in your field or you're kind of receiving into your field, treat that energy like currency, right? When you're avoiding that currency, like I've said, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I always say this theme though, when you're avoiding or canceling something out of your reality by way of not acknowledging it as if it's not there, you know, the universe has a funny way of knocking on your door, in your back door, to deliver it to you the right way in a blind spot, right? And so in other words, what I'm saying is, even with things we hate, dislike, avoid, or fear, you have to make space for those type of allocations for you to not be hit hard by the blindness of it coming at you. Because basically what you're saying is, if something's in your field or something you're acknowledging is, and you're avoiding it, that's the same thing as like something kind of running at you and you're just running away from it. It's got to catch up to you. And so it's the connotation of these things, the attachment to the psychological conduct of these things that kind of makes sense for it. This may make sense for somebody in regards to not avoiding an energy, but simply embracing an energy. The alchemy is significant. That's where the alchemy begins, is when you can face something head on. That's when the change can begin, is when you can acknowledge where the change needs to happen. So that's just messages for somebody in regards to receiving a lot of energy. And so understanding what to do with energy, understanding what to do with that. Do not let that clutter you. Do not let that fog you. Do not let that stagnate you. And so when you move these energies around, whether it's psychologically, emotionally, or whether it's you physically exercising and embodying these things, because all these things are correlated to each other, right? By way of conversion, by way of like converting something. So like I'm saying, for an example, with what I just said, you can work out something, like work your emotions out, right? You can simply transmute those emotional energies into a physical calibration of it. That's all I'm saying with that. But whoever I'm tapping into, there's a starlight energy that you embody. So something has you step out, or you need to step out in some regard, way, shape, or form, in a way that embraces or televises, could be significant. Broadcast was the word I was looking for. Televises was a significant word that automatically came up. A lot of you guys could be stepping into some type of starlight, or you're trying to, or you're embracing some type of calling or some type of risk to step out and broadcast something, right? Whether that's information, whether that's a talent, whether it's a gift, something is going to bring you a lot in. and there's a reason that people are taken to you at this time. So this could be significant for, you know, people that are going through energetic shifts at this time, that are just simply embodying a higher starlight energy in regards to what's emanating out of you and what people can feel and sense. It doesn't have to be my public eye people, though a lot of you guys can be. A lot of you guys are being prepared to step into those roles as you're watching me do, right? In terms of me consistently kind of stepping on here and giving you a revelated message, right? Because a lot of you guys, I was looking at that very screen, watching a lot of the people I was watching to embody what I just took the risk to embody. So that could be a literal, straightforward message to a direct soul that I'm speaking to, that is going to once, maybe not even step on YouTube. Maybe you're doing something totally different. Maybe you're going to get on TV. Televised is what's significant. Something's going to be televised. The revolution will be televised. That was a significant channel message. Random one. But something about changes, shifts, revolution, transformations that is supposed to put you maybe in the limelight. Maybe that's what's happened, right? Gossip behind the scenes, there's a lot of talk about whoever I'm tapping into. So there's a lot of talk about, you know, a lot of energies that you're going through. And there's a lot of talk about shit where I'm at right now. There's a lot of talk from my own hometown. So I was using that to convey a message. You could have people that knew you in the past that are wondering, curious about you on a very general level. For a lot of you, because that's a very general message, I'm getting a lot of different energies. I'm trying to find a way to, of course, assimilate that into a general message. Stay grounded at this time. There's a lot of energy at play. You see I'm taking the energy, so there could be a lot of energy that's happening right now, but what this is doing is clearing out what is needing to be exfoliated for you to step into something that spirit is preparing you for, whoever I'm tapping into, that's specific. Forgiveness is your key to energy flow and healing. So resentments, things that are holding you back, shit, resentments towards self, resentments in that could catalyze itself in fears, apprehensions that can catalyze itself in fear, that can catalyze itself in self-resentment, self-hatred, self-lowering, or self-degradation in regards to, let's say, a dream, a goal. A lot of you guys have dreams and goals that I'm just affirming back to you that is in your spirit for a designated reason. A lot of you guys have been on that path toward completing. A lot of you guys have been on shadow work is significant, on a shadow working path, so you can be able to step into the limelight. A lot of you guys understand the equivalent of how shadow paves way into what embodies into your light. It all comes from that shadow work that you're doing. It all comes from the consistency that you're doing. You know what I mean? Once you fall out of loop with yourself, you fall out of loop with what it is that you're here to do. And so I don't know why that came out of me, but all of this is coming out of me for a reason, because somebody that I'm tapping into, this could be some type of preparation for something big in your life, right? You're here to awaken many souls in this lifetime. So there's something about rising to the occasion and outshining what it is, outshining versions of yourself, outshining thoughts of yourself by way of taking action that proves your own self wrong. That could be a message for somebody. A lot of times we internalize the limitations of what people think is logical. We internalize the limitations of people that saw us struggle, that saw us fall down in our ass before. And sometimes we can internalize the witnessings of that. Sometimes we can internalize the actual falls, the mistakes that we've made within ourselves. And so this is a message for somebody in regards to just look at those things. Think about those little bitty facets, right? A lot of you guys are performers. A lot of you guys are set to be on a stage and riding the wave and having a wave of an audience riding your wave on stage. It's supposed to be flowing with you. And so there's something about taking control in regards of that version of yourself that didn't believe, that version of yourself that doesn't think you can take that step forward, that version of yourself that is implying all of the faces that may laugh at you when you fall, all the faces that you may anticipate when you do something wrong. And just think about that version of yourself, that fear, and hug it on an energetic level, or whatever. You guys are gifted different ways of psychologically attuning energy, so it's a different way that you guys can take that message. But take that aspect of you, whether it maybe, let's say you have a fucked up mother or a fucked up father. A lot of you guys have messed up people that are your biggest agents of hatred or biggest agents of limitation or insecurity, because they're projecting it on you. A lot of those times you need to take them, those parts of them. A lot of you guys are my healers. A lot of you guys are my intuitives. And you can take that aspect of them on an energy level and just hug them and embrace them. You would underestimate how much that would do for somebody that doesn't see anything but spite or hatred or resentment. That's a message for somebody. Money coming in. So there's something about kind of clearing out pathways, or clearing out energy, right? On a literal energy level. This is all about speaking about whether that's fears, apprehensions. We don't need things in the way of what we're being prepared for. So I'm being channeled a message right now for somebody I'm tapping into. Think about that dream reality. Think about yourself right now. It's another reminder message. You are in a prayer that you've prayed maybe years ago. Maybe you're in an embodiment, whether that's that aspect of you, whether that's the emotional state of you, not being in hurt or trauma that you wish to not be in or burdened in as much anymore. Or maybe you're not in that location that was burdening you. Maybe you're not in that same circumstance. Maybe you're not in fear of your dreams the way you used to be. But either way, you're in a prayer that you've prayed before. You've manifested it now. And that should be grounding for somebody. Sometimes we got to remind ourselves. And sometimes, you know, and what I'm saying with these messages is the grounding for what's coming in. The money coming in, sevens are significant. But what I'm saying is the energy that's coming in. You may have a lot of attention, whether it's from people that physically know you or not. From a spiritual point of view, that something is being witnessed. A transformation, a shift is being witnessed. Whether that's just spirits that are watching you, whether that's like a trick of the enemy, not the trick of the enemy, a project of the enemy. So people that you don't physically see or physically know, but spirits of the other side, so to speak. Whether that's just spirits of, you know, spirits of delay, spirits of, you know, depression, spirits of fear, spirits of whatever that is, right? Those are things that we are needing to highlight and to release and be aware of, especially if you're stepping in any type of connotation as I am. But either way, you can still take that on the energy velocity and be like, okay, so let's take that back to the prayer thing. Okay, so since I'm here in the prayer that I once prayed for, you got to think about that in regards to canceling out the thoughts, the ideals that, you know, kind of invalidate that prayer that you've prayed. So what I'm saying is to take that to a bigger level in a more cohesive way. I'm saying with that ideal of what you're dreaming or anticipating, let's say you're trying to perform, let's say that you're really good at it, but you're shy. You have to anticipate or envision that envisioning of you being completely calm and completely defying that vision that you're going to be shy. You have to completely defy that in terms of you expecting and internalizing and dreaming and projecting towards that higher version of yourself that isn't so shy. And so these things can be hard to do, but a lot of you guys, what this is really kind of illuminating to you guys is the little bitty ways of your access points to your inner world or to your inner psyche. It's just a loophole into those things that you can hijack and kind of like indoctrinate for yourself. That's the point of a brain. That's the point of it. It's the mind. The mind is the computer. It's not the soul. And so that could be a reminder for a few people in regards to zooming out, because a lot of times those thoughts can be very discouraging. A lot of times thoughts can be very harmful in regards to what we're just literally an antenna for. And I said this in the last reading, just receiving antennas for energy and information. But we really fail to recognize and we underestimate how much co-creative control we have over how much that affects us. Not only that, but how much control we really have over, maybe we can change the direction of those thoughts through our vibration, through our emanation of what we're thinking and feeling about ourselves. Once we become aware of those things, that's where it can change. That's my message for somebody. You've helped so many people through your mission if you have not already. Whoever I'm tapping into, a lot of you guys have big missions, big callings for your family, for your friends, for that one person that you have a calling for to help and to do something that maybe only you can do for that specific person in a subjective circumstance. And so these are things that, you know, I'm talking to a group and collective of people that are embodying traits a little more openly, a little more cohesively. And these things can really be preparing a lot of people's attention, their eyes on you, to be expecting something from you. A lot of times when people expect you or sense that you're going through a breakthrough, there's something that they're expecting to emanate out of you. A lot of you guys are artists that stay ducked off until you drop something. A lot of you guys don't promote. A lot of you guys are like, you know what I mean, really distant until you do something. That's for my specific creatives. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys are thinking about openly expressing and sharing those things a lot more, or in a more open way, or in a more direct way, which is why I use the performers in this case example. Everything you lost is returning back to you tenfold. This is the inheritance that we speak of on a spiritual level, and how that physically co-assimilates itself into physical reality. So let's go into that. When you can step into your higher self and embody yourself without a fuck to give about who the fuck else is going to get in the way of that, on a principality level, on a political level, an emotional level, or just any type of petty ass level. When you can embody yourself on a higher self and accept yourself wholeheartedly, accept what you can do, what you feel like you're called here to do wholeheartedly, that's when those emanations are returning to you. That's when the emanations of your outside and external circumstance start emanating from that. And what that can do in regards to the eyes that are glued to you, it can bring you a lot of attention. It can bring you a lot of people. But what you do with that and how you sense from people taken to your spirit when your vibration is heightening is you understanding who is taken from you and who's not. Who's genuine for you, who's not. Who's doing the work and who's not. And so those things become more apparent to you when you don't give a fuck about who's caring about you stepping into your higher self. Who said this about you that hurt you back then? Who did this to you that's still trying to hurt you back then? Or who did this to you back then that you still hurting yourself over internalizing from back then? You know, it's all about perspective and perception that shifts these things. Whoever I'm tapping into, to embody this on a general level and to go back to an objective kind of message, there's big changes that you're going through in terms of the identity that you're choosing to embody from. So we're not choosing the mediocre identity. We're not choosing a complacent identity. We're not choosing that version identity that was making mistakes that we're gluing ourselves to out of shame, out of guilt, out of resentment, out of regret. You know, when you can glue yourself and say, fuck that, and I forgive every single person, I appreciate every single person that's helped me in a negative way, positive way, that turned into that positive, or turned into whatever I connotated it as, right? That's when you can move forward and embody this star potential, this star energy. We all have one. We all have it. We all have a highest self. We all have a highest emanation. A lot of times we're indoctrinated to stay far the fuck away from that. Right? People are threatened by your aura, and this is why. This is what also emanates from that starlight energy when people are taken to you in terms of attention and the need and necessity to clear out your energy to be grounded, so you're not making decisions that are emanating from others. So you're not making decisions that are emanating from the internalization of others' thoughts, or just the receiving of others' thoughts, the receiving of other people's energies, the jurisdictions of which you have to become so strong in the foundation of yourself and what it is that co-simulates itself to, whether that's you're a musician, or how you accommodate your workplace, or how you're sitting in that office with those people and directing those meetings, or saying your word at those meetings with your coworkers, with your associates. It can be so many different things, but the emanation that you take from that point, that you say fuck that, and they're gonna take, when you say fuck that and just be like, and just understand that people are taking note from you in terms of that relativity point, is what I'm being suggested and highlighted, just to simply say, to understand the perspective that people, when you're embodying yourself from your highest emanation, that people from that point forward are using you as the relativity point, and understanding the internalizations from that point from that point, understanding the internalizations from that point. So sometimes we can internalize something that somebody said to us because maybe we're feeling good that day and we run into somebody who feels totally like shit, and then but we still internalize the words that person felt or said to us. But it's obvious that person felt like shit and I was having a great day. That person may not have had that understanding, but that's what triggered it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't be that simple as black and white, but I'm just using an example for a message that I'm saying. You're not gonna be able to allow people to connotate what your higher self is. When you're embodying yourself from that higher self, you're the relativity for others to embody theirs. You're the relativity for what that means for other people. And I think I'm just gonna end off on that note. Whoever I'm tapping into, you guys are embodying a higher version of yourself more by the day. A lot of you guys, I read your comments, and it's just cool to me to see that. A lot of old faces that started with this channel from the day one, and to see you talking in a more affirmative way, or in a more secure way, or just than I may have read back then, you know, at a vulnerable point or a more vulnerable point. There's more assurance in this energy, right? And so it's just really cool to be able to keep up with a lot of different people along the journey and just kind of come back with my results that you guys are co-assimilating with my reality as I'm going at my abrupt challenges in life, hardships, and I'm facing them directly as well. And it's the coolest thing to be able to relate it back to a group of people that are also checking back in with me. That's my last message. If you need a personal with me, hit up Shamika with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. I've got a partnership with Otter Spirit and Rose Forever New York if you're interested in 20% off of either or of rose decor flowers or vibration enhancing jewelry of any kind. It's your boy Justice. I'm going to read some comments when I get done tonight. I'm just on point in terms of just in flow. I'm just being guided to just put them out and put them out and put them out. So I'm just recording ahead so I can stay ahead. It's your boy Justice. I'm sending my love and Ashe. Peace out.